Welcome back to another video. We are in the Open Raid League, and today we're going to be running this new team. We're going to be running the Registeel, Shadow Feraligatr, and Cresselia. So, two tanks with the Registeel and Cresselia, with the Shadow Feraligatr kind of being the safe swap. We're going to go and stay in. We're going to throw a Zap Cannon. One Zap Cannon goes through, we get the debuff. The Feraligatr is staying in, trying to win this match of just straight Hydro Cannons. But luckily, we are able to get the first move. Okay, our opponent ends up throwing another move here. We're going to allow it to go through because it's already done its job. We are going to go into our Feraligatr right here. Feraligatr versus the Feraligatr. We're going to try to store up a ton of energy. We can tank the first move easily. Our opponent ends up coming in with the Furfurrow. Furfurrow right here is very interesting. It is throwing, I don't know what fast move that is, but they're going to be able to throw a Grass Knot right at us. Grass Knot doesn't quite KO. We're going to be able to get to this Future Sight. Huge Future Sight goes through. And then our opponent is going to be able to throw another move right before our Grass Knot comes about. They have their own Grass Knot to throw at us. Okay, we're going to CAP right here. They go for the Surf. So interesting moveset by that Furfurrow. Grass Knot and Surf. We take out the Furfurrow and then switch out right into our Feraligatr. Has a ton of energy. We're not going to waste any time, and we're going to throw the Hydro Cannon. Our opponent is going to have a Mandibuzz in the back. This Mandibuzz is going to be difficult to take out because we do not have enough energy to take out this Mandibuzz. We're going to have to shield here if we want any slight chance. They go for the Aero Ace, and they do have another Aero Ace ready for us, and this Feraligatr goes down. And unfortunately for us, the Cresselia does not have enough health to take out that Mandibuzz, even though we don't even have Moonblast on it, so that was GG's anyways. Alright, next game, let's see what we find. We're going to have the Registeel and Feraligatr and the Cresselia. Here we're going to do a Hydro Cannon to just chip away at this Poliwrath. This Poliwrath is kind of a core breaker between our Feraligatr and Reggie, but our opponent ends up letting it go. That is so surprising that the Shadow Feraligatr can take out a Poliwrath throwing resistant moves. Then our opponent has the Mew. This Mew is going to be charging up a ton of energy. Go for one Wild Charge right there. They know that they can get to another one quite easily, and we're going to tank it. They're going to switch out into the Shadow Gligar. So Shadow Gligar is going to face our Cresselia. We're going to shield the Dig, that is correct. And we're going to go for the Future Sight immediately. This Future Sight does huge neutral damage. As you can see, it's in range of a Grass Knot, so that is the whole goal. We're going to let this Dig go through. We do survive it quite easily, and then we're going to farm out just a little bit and throw this Grass Knot. This Grass Knot will get a shield or the KO. So our opponent does let it go, and now we have the Mew versus our Cresselia. This Cresselia is going to be able to get to this Grass Knot. Grass Knot does some good neutral damage. They end up shielding, and now we're going to force them to throw some energy, but unfortunately for them, we do have a Zap Cannon reached, and we're going to be able to take out that Mew. So GG's for our opponent, able to beat that Mew with a ton of energy, honestly. The Poliwrath, unfortunately, did such a great number on our the Poliwrath ended up getting taken out by our Feraligatr. Okay, so we got the Mantine versus the Reggie. Pretty favorable for this Reggie, so we're trying to get our move off on the correct Pokemon as we are making sure our move doesn't get caught. And our opponent here does get the debuff, so now we for sure going to win this. They are running the Water Pulse version. Water Pulse is going to be only neutral versus the Reggie. They switch out into the Lickitung, and we're going to be able to throw that Focus Blast for some huge damage, forcing our opponent to throw more energy. Ends up taking out our Reggie. And now that we have the Lickitung pretty low, we're going to go in with our Cresselia to soak up most of this damage. And we're going to try our best to farm up as much as possible, throw this Grass Knot. This will get the KO or shield. They decide to let it go. And our opponent ends up having the Mantine and Lickitung and what? We have a ton of energy. We're going to throw this Future Sight. Ends up going through. Our opponent is going to have to throw a move here, okay? we know that we could survive any of these, so we're going to let this one go. Water Pulse comes through. We're going to throw a Grass Knot right here, so it's going to KO or get the shield. What do we think is in the back? Okay, ends up being the Hippowdon. Hippowdon is going to be able to spam some fast charge moves, but we are going to be able to double up with our Hydro Cannons very, very soon. We do tank the Weather Ball right there, and we are at 2 Hydro Cannons right here. So 1 Hydro Cannon gets shielded, they're going to go, and we're going to farm a little bit, and then go for another Hydro Cannon. This Hydro Cannon will take out this Hippowdon, and that is GG's to our opponent right there. That Shadow Feraligatr coming in clutch, farming up a ton of energy and just wrecking their backline, which is the power of a Shadow Feraligatr with some energy. Alright, pretty decent matchup here. Expecting them to switch out. They got the Skarmory on our Registeel here. They're staying in, which is interesting. They're trying to catch a move, I guess. Zap Cannon goes through. It does debuff. They're going to throw a move here that is resisted and debuffed. Brave Bird goes through. That's smart if they're ABA weak to this team, because we're going to be able to get less farm. So it does look like they are ABA weak to this Reggie. They go and switch out of that Lickitung, into their Registeel, and we know that this Feraligatr can take out the Registeel going straight Hydro Cannons. So we're going to shield here, obviously, as Zap Cannon would have done a ton of damage. Now, even though we are debuffed, check out how much damage this Hydro Cannon does if they let it go. Okay, they decided to let it go, and unfortunately for them, we are already at another Hydro Cannon, so boom! The Feraligatr takes out the Registeel easy. Our opponent here does throw a move right when we get to the Hydro. We're going to decide to store up that energy and then reset the debuff, go into our Registeel here. Registeel is going to potentially take out our Reggie, because they're going to be able to survive this Focus Blast, I believe. Yep. But it gets into the red, looking for the farm down. They do get the farm down, so nice by my opponent. And then, unfortunately for them, we do have a full Cresselia waiting for them. So they had tanks, and we had tanks in the back. And this is GG's, because we're going to be able to get to this Grass Knot pretty soon. They're going to go for a Desperation Body Slam. Takes us into the yellow, but we're just going to farm them at that point. So GG's. We had to face a triple tank team right there. The Skarmory, Reggie, and the Lickitung. And fortunately for us, we had the Reggie in the correct spot. Alright, here, got the Reggie versus the Steelix. Pretty decent for us, as we're going to be able to get to this Focus Blast before they potentially get to an Earthquake. So we're going to fire off this Focus Blast first. They let it go, and they're staying in. So they are potentially throwing an Earthquake right here. But we know that we survive an Earthquake, so we let it go. Ends up being the Psychic thing. So we did call the correct bait. Now they're back at an Earthquake, and we're going to potentially shield it. So that was great sequence right there. Able to come out of that with absolute perfect energy. And our opponent ends up having the, what was that, a Nidoqueen and a Azumarill? So Nidoqueen gets shown first, and then they switch out into the Azumarill. Unfortunately, the Azumarill does resist all of the Feraligatr moves on my moveset. But you can see here, these Hydro Cannons, 2 Hydro Cannons, just took it into the low red. Okay, and our opponent ends up going for the Ice Beam bait. We're going to let that one go, and we're going to allow this one to go through again. Okay, they go for another Ice Beam bait. And at this point, we actually want this Azumarill healthy so that we can get some farm. Oh, it wasn't Nidoqueen, it was a Quagsire. So Quagsire comes in, we're going to go a Zap Cannon to potentially debuff, and we do get the debuff. That's the only reason why we came back in with the Reggie, try to get that debuff. We do get the debuff, and now they know that it's GG's, because this Cresselia is going to be able to get to 2 future sites. So check out this team if you haven't already, and let us know if you enjoyed the video.